going on, everybody? This is your boy, Inside 11, back at you again with some very, very powerful transforming concept for you today. Today is Monday, Moon Day. What is it? December the 19th. So that we're near the new year, which is not really the real new year, but with this calendar we're following right now, it's their new year, not really our new year and things like that, not really our celebration. But aside from that, aside from the calendar, aside from the cosmology, aside from astrology and all that good stuff, today we want to talk about how to deal with rejection, how to deal with abandonment. When you're going through these thoughts and feelings, how do you begin to process these things so they don't become harmful for yourself and they don't become toxic and harmful and shameful for everybody else? You know, as people, we all look for positive experiences that propel us forward and take us into a new reality, that uplifts us out of this low dark place that we feel alone in and things like that. So the feelings of abandonment and the feelings of rejection can create a reality where we think and feel like we are alone in terms of what we go through, and truly our suffering is just hidden behind a logical formulation of arguments and words, that we don't want to display to others, just via us logicalizing it, via us being too smart for ourselves and things like that. So you're told as a man, men shouldn't cry, but really what you're saying is men should have pent up energies and not release them. Now men should be strong. I'm not saying that men should be crying out there, emotional. I don't even recommend females be overly emotional, but what are we accumulating being emotional about? How are we directing those feelings? Because feeling is a very, 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 very powerful faculty and a very, very powerful way of holding on to something. Bacteria and things like that develop on water that is not running. So when water inside of you, like your feelings, is pent up and it's not running, it's not recirculating, and you don't have a mechanism of changing the water, renewing the water, this leads to us developing negative emotions, things that don't assist us in evolving and changing and being dynamic and maneuvering, not around the problem or through the problem, but just understanding what the problem is so we can intelligently uh, deal with it and things like that. So, when you deal with things like, again, like abandonment and rejection, these are things that I've personally dealt with, and things that, these are challenges that I had to see through and I had to overcome, and things of that nature. So, you know, depending on the percentage level that you choose to involve yourself in your abandonment, in your rejection, really a rejection is not even really a rejection. It's really just advising you to redirect how you approach your the approach of your energy, how you choose to express that essence within you. Because if we would to put it in a metric system of value between two values, let's say black and white, and we would to see the extremes that you go about doing these things, and no wonder why it generate a negative result. So when you accumulate so much the feeling like you've abandoned, feeling like you've been rejected, you might go to an extreme level to try to gain this approval in your life, or this thing that you things that we've been missing, things that we've been missing as far as nourishment that we may have needed from our parents, approval that we may have needed from others about our expression and how we go about being ourselves and things like that. And so you might be in an environment where your mother and father, or your family, is just naturally against how you express yourself, how you go about expanding yourself, how you go about receiving and understanding and speculating on information. Not everybody the same, and this is not going out in order for you to hate the people, places, and things that created that feeling of abandonment, that created that feeling of rejection in you. This is just understanding how to deal with it better, understanding how to process it better, not letting life make you bitter. We're supposed to get better because eventually you're going to have to pick up that cross and you're going to have to follow Jesus Christ. You have to follow the Son. You have to follow your positivity. You have to follow your ability to expand. You know, you can't be stuck forever in these things, and you can revisit these things to appreciate it. Why not create a new emotion? Why not create a new reality around that place that you view every single time? Why do we want to be why do we want to allow ourselves to be pissed off? Why do we want to allow ourselves to be mad? Why do we want to allow ourselves to be hurt, worried, doubtful, fearful? Just because we don't want to let go of that light, we don't want to let go of that memory, we don't want to let go of that energy that's pent up inside of us. So we have to allow ourselves to process. We have to allow ourselves to, revisit the past and look at it in a different way and not allow it to affect us in the same way. You should look at your past and you should be smiling. You should be looking at your past and you should be laughing. You should be looking at your past and overcoming. You should be looking at your past and not getting stuck in it, not letting that be the end be all and not calling that fate. See, the only reason that you are in your circumstances is because you're choosing to give somebody else power over your abundance. And your abundance cannot be simply calculated based on a metric system. Your abundance cannot be really calculated by any measure. Now, you know, based on us, I mean, you could calculate it and things like that, but because you're so abundant and you're so infinite that something finite can give you an idea of a starting point of how you think and feel, but you can accumulate and you can change so much within yourself and within others if you just simply let go of those things that no longer serve you. And it's so easy to hate, it's so easy to be disrespectful, it's so easy to be angry because everybody around us is angry. Everybody around us is disrespecting others and disrespecting themselves. Nobody is taking the time to do the shadow work. Nobody's taking the time out of their day or to add into the routine and their patterns daily to self-reflect and do the shadow work. So when somebody amongst the people, this is why the Bible always tells you that the prophet is not welcome in his own hometown. It's because however you go about getting your one and two together, as far as you connecting and you processing and you expanding and you contracting, because we all do these things differently. We don't necessarily receive information and generate pulse like everybody else are on the same vibratory rate. We all these organs are expanding at a different rate when it comes to each person's individual expression, each person individual signature energy, because we all don't correlate this mentality the same. And what do I mean by mentality? I'm talking about your gut, I'm talking about your brain, I'm talking about this whole body is a brain. Everything here is a brain. Your lungs directly affect your brain by you even breathing in and out slowly. You affect the amount of oxygen that's going to your brain and things like that. So there's a lot of techniques and there's a lot of tools for you to begin to deal with abandonment, to begin to deal with rejection, and those are things that you don't have to be stuck in anymore. But you have to make the decision, and the decision is difficult because I believe me, I've been there. I used to think all the time about my past. Oh, my mother, my father did this, my mother did this, blah 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 blah. But these things do not serve God. These things do not serve the overall. So by even you involving yourself into that, you're actually just being selfish on the highest level. But this is selfish on a spiritual level, because once you understand the game and once you understand what's going on, you can't even really afford to trip. So don't sign up for that program called abandonment. Don't sign up for that program called rejection. Don't sign up for that program called, you need to praise something else outside of you because you're less than it. You will always be more if you place yourself in a position to be more, but you will always be less if you place yourself in a position to be less. So handle your rejection, handle your trauma, and handle your abandonment and things of that nature. And if you need resources to assist you with how to go about these things or how to begin the process, you can visit the link below. You can visit my linktree. I have some products, some services, that information that can illuminate your mind, your vessel, into your true identity and the path that you're supposed to be walking on, which you're already walking on. You're already aware of it. It's aware of you. You guys have known each other for a long time. Your destiny, your heaven, your hell, all these things, you have known these worlds for a long time. But the problem is you're having trouble traveling within these worlds. And the citizens in hell are in heaven, and the citizens of heaven are apprehended in hell. So we have to reverse this mentality to create your new reality. So visit the link in the description, check it out, and I'm going to infinitely see you guys on the next video.